In this video, we're going to show you how you can use the North52 Data Packager to move functionality that you've created on the portals from one environment to another. Our scenario here is that we have got a product registrations functionality on our portal that consists of a entity list here and a form to create new product registrations. We want to be able to move this from one environment to another easily, and we can do this using North52 Data Packager. The first thing we want to do is create a new solution to hold our data package. So we just move this down here and add in the name, choose the publisher, use the default one if you like, and just put a version number in here. Click Save and Close. Then we navigate to our data packager, so North52 Data Package, and create a new data package. In this case, we'll just give it the same name as our solution. So overwrite the one that's there by default, and we also need to change the deployment settings from the default solution to our data package solution for the product registration. Then we click Save. Now, there's a number of components that we need to add to this data package to capture all the entities that contain the configuration data for the portals. Things like the entity permissions, web role associations, forms, metadata for the form, list, and web page, and also finally the web link. One of the things that we need to do as part of the setup of this data package is we need to exclude certain fields when we're building up the data package. So we have a configuration setting here, configuration exclude fields, and in here are all the fields that we don't want to bring into the data package. And as you can see, some of these things are like status codes, owners, etc. When we're creating data packages with portals, quite often we don't want to also have the created by the author ID, created IB, usernames, etc. in there as well. So I've just added those three entities, the author ID, created by username, modified user by name, into this area here as well. So once that's done, we are ready to add some data to our data package. So we can come across to our Explore tab. And the first thing that we're going to add is the entity permissions. So we're going to go across, navigate to entity permission, and it'll bring back all the entity permissions in this instance. And so I just want to look for the one that's concerned with our product registration. And there's two here, so I simply check those two and then click on the lightning bolt to add those entity permissions to our data package. Second thing that we're going to do is add the web roles that are related to these entities permissions. So I just need to expand both of those records here and expand the related entities. Here we can see here's the web role there. We want to check that, and we want to expand this one here as well. So I want to add those. Just click those two, and we can see that we've got another sheet that's been added here, and that will create the many-to-many relationships between the entity permissions and the web roles. The next item that we need to bring along is the entity form. So if we look at the entity form, we can see our product registration one here. So we want to add that. And there's also some metadata that belongs to this entity form. So we can either get that from our list entity form metadata here, or we can just expand the relationship here and look for the entity form metadata, and we can see here's the record. We just need to check that and click our lightning bolt again, and that's going to add the entity form metadata for this particular record. We have an entity list that we want to add as well, and again we don't need to filter down these records, we can see which one it is. Simply click on the product registration one and add that to my data package. There are web pages which host the entity lists and form, so I just need to look for the web page entity in here. Again, this one I will need to filter down, so just do a search for my product registration again. It's best to have these ordered root ones first, so I can just simply click the search again and it will reverse the search. And I just want to click all those. I can use the all selection here as well. Click that and we can see all the web pages that have gone through. Notice that we've also got another couple of entities in here, sheets in here, web page self-referencing update. So this is the post web page create. So once these web pages have been created, there's another step in here which associates those web pages to the relevant parent pages. The final thing that final piece that we need to add to the data package here for configuration data is the web link. So if we look for the web link, so this will determine the navigation. So we can find the product registrations, and I just need to add that, and I can click that to add that to my data package as well. Now that we've got all the data added to our data package, we can set up the ability to disable plugins and processes. So when you're building out data packages for portals, and if they can contain web pages, the best practice will be to disable any plugins, because when you create a web page, it creates a child web page for the language variant. But because we are creating that as part of our data package here, we can see that we've got the product registrations here and the product registration root page, and then we've got the product registration English language page here as well. So that's all created, so we don't need to rely on the out-of-the-box plugins creating those pages, so we need to disable those. So one of the things that we've got is the ability to disable and enable plugins once a data package is executed. So to add that functionality to a data package, we come to snippets, DP setup processes, we click that, and a couple of sheets are added to our data package. So we've got a deactivate plugins sheet here, and then at the other end we have got a activate plugins and activate processes. The processes themselves that are activated on these and deactivated on these sheets are contained in the global calculations here, and we can see here the entities to disable and any workflows that we want to disable in here. The entities that we want to disable for this particular one, so if I come into here and expand this out, I can just copy and paste these in because I know what they are, but they relate to the entity form, the metadata, entity list, web page permissions, etc. So in any entity that you're updating, it could be safe to assume that you might want to delete that or disable those plugins. So once that's done, all we need to do is save our data package, and it's ready to be exported as part of the solution. So we'd go back to our solutions here, product registration one here. If we open that up, we will see that we've got some data package records, and we've also got some Xcache data package records as well. So these store information that's not able to be contained in the data package sheets itself. So it might be HTML code or the fields that are too long to store in the data package itself. We store those as Xcache records. And once you've got this all set up, all you need to do is click on the export solution and import it to your target environment, and click the execute data package on the target environment, and you will have that deployed. For further information, please see our website north52.com or our knowledge base at support.north52.com.